Hey guys, so just a quick note before the start of the video here. I originally was going to take footage of the interior of the car with my GoPro. I must not have started the footage or accidentally pushed the button once I did because none of it got recorded. So it's just going to be a video of the exterior of the car as I drive around and talk about the subject of the video. So with that said, guys, go ahead and enjoy the video. Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be doing a bit of a rant video about the California DMV and my experience with them today and in the past year or so. I was at the California DMV in the area. I'm in San Diego for school just today. And I show up to get my motorcycle license and my real ID. And for those of you who don't know, the real ID is something new that you will need to be able to fly without a passport domestically in the United States. It's a federal requirement, and it's going to come into effect in October of 2020. Now, I figured I would kill 3 or 4 birds with one stone because I needed my motorcycle license, I needed my real ID, I just turned 21, so I also needed to flip my license and make it horizontal, and I also needed a new license photo since my previous one is from when I was 15 and a half getting my driver's permit. So I show up at the DMV today. You have a line as usual. That's nothing strange, that's nothing unusual. I show up, I wait in the line, and I get my number, I go into my application for this license. A little over a year ago, I had gone in and gotten my permit for my motorcycle. I had taken the rider's class in July of last year, 2018, and I took the test to get my permit in October of 2018. I come in, it is now early December of 2019, and that application had expired, which makes sense. After a year, you have the 6 month to a year period to come in and get your license once you've applied for the license. However, after this year and after the license has expired, even though they had forced me to pay in that time period, they said you are paying for your license whenever you get it. It does not matter. I had showed up, I had asked them, I made sure that that was the case, and when I left, I felt comfortable that I could come back and get my license when ready. So I come in today and I end up being told that I need to pay again for my license. It was $35, now it's $36. I had already paid the $35 for my new license. I'm in here trying to get my real ID. He's telling me that because it's a new application, I need to pay again. And I said, no, that's not right. I had already paid for the license, and I shouldn't have to deal with this. I shouldn't have to pay again. Even if I do have to take the written test again, which I consented to and I said was more or less fine. They were telling me that I needed to pay again, which just didn't sit right with me because I never got a license from paying that first time in the first place. So I show up, I am told I have to pay again. I eventually talk to a supervisor. She tells me there's nothing we can do about this. I'm gonna have to charge you again if you want to get a real ID and motorcycle license at this time, since that motorcycle permit you took had expired after a year. I said, okay, you know what? I'll foot the bill. I'll pay for another license, even though I'd never gotten the first one originally. And so I've now paid $71 for a license that would have originally cost $35. And so I take my driver's test, I pass that without a problem, and then I begin to take my motorcycle permit test, or my motorcycle license test rather. And at the beginning of this test, I had brought in my motorcycle handbook just to refresh myself should I need it. And on questions I was unsure about, I was referencing the handbook. So in the testing area, there are signs posted everywhere, no cell phones whatsoever, posted all over the testing area. And I look specifically for any sign that says no driver's handbook. No sign says no driver's handbook. Not a single sign in the area says no driver's handbook. And so I began taking my test, and there was a problem that stumped me, so I took my driver's handbook and I leafed through it. And as I happened to be looking through my motorcycle handbook, someone in the DMV came up to me and grabbed my handbook right out of my hand and said, "Come with me, you're an automatic fail." So this guy snatched the motorcycle handbook from me and took me over to another woman who had him write down what he saw, which was me with the handbook in my hand, and then handed me back my application and said, "You will be contacted at a later date. They will arrange an interview with you. Some DMV misbehavior group." I haven't looked up this organization or whatever it is, or whoever it is that would be contacting me about this situation, but as of right now, it would seem that this second application, after having gotten 0 licenses from the state of California, has now been voided, and I've paid $71 to not have a single license. And it looks like I will end up having to pay $107 for a single license in the state of California. I would be okay with this if it had been $71 and I had let the permit expire. That would be on me. But it comes to this point where I am given not even a single warning for having the handbook out, when there are people to my left and to my right who had been warned about cell phones, signs for which are posted everywhere in this testing area. And I am told that I automatically fail. No warning whatsoever. They just tell me, "You failed the test. It's an automatic fail." They grab my stuff and they sent me on my way. And I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that I would have to go through and pay 3 times to get a single license in the state of California. There's no refund procedure. They just take your money, they pocket it, and they give you nothing for it if you mess up in the slightest manner. In this case, I even had my receipt for paying for that first license, which I never received. I also now have a receipt for the second license that I will not receive. And yet there is no refund, there is no procedure for handling any sort of situation like this, except to say you have to pay again and we are keeping your money. So what have I learned from this process, and what can you learn from my mistakes? Well, I would go to the DMV prepared. Come with all your documents, come with everything you might need for whatever it is you're getting, be it a registration or a license, real ID, motorcycle license, commercial license. Come with everything that you need. Also, come fully prepared for the test. Don't look at the handbook or your cell phone while taking the test. Evidently, it's a far larger offense to be looking at the handbook than your cell phone, although I'm not really sure how that figures, but it is. Also, come prepared to spend a lot of your time at the DMV. A lot of time will be wasted. That is almost always the case. Come prepared with something to do if you're going to be waiting in line without an appointment. And really, without an appointment is the main way to handle the DMV, because often appointments will be booked out at least 6 months. So guys, with all that said, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been very therapeutic to talk about this very frustrating experience with the DMV I had. When you go to the DMV, bring all the papers necessary, know what you need, come prepared to waste time and money, and don't look at your handbook while taking a written test. So guys, go ahead and leave a like, comment below, and please subscribe for more content. Every little bit encourages me to keep making these videos. So thank you so much for joining me today.